Hey folks, here in South Africa, there is almost nothing in the way of formal public infrastructure in order to facilitate access to public life for people with disabilities. If, like me, you have a severe physical condition which profoundly limits your ability to earn a living, what you get is a nominal monthly disability payment that isn't even enough to cover monthly expenses for a single working class individual, and that's pretty much it. After that, you're on your own. Given that this is the case, you might think that I would be all guns blazing for corporate activism with regard to disability, but I'm not, and I'm going to quickly explain why. I think that what a lot of activism with regard to disability gets wrong is that, in my experience, people with disabilities who center their lives on being professional activists have a kind of vengeful streak in them. In most cases, it's unconscious, but in the worst ones, it's very much self aware. A lot of people with disabilities become bitter, and their activism takes the form not of addressing real problems and developing practical solutions, but of taking their frustration and sadness out on normal people and subjecting them to guilt trips and shaming, essentially for not having been born disabled. This often results in tone policing, a heightened awareness of offense and grievances, and just generally making themselves unpleasant to be around or interact with. On the corporate side of things, in terms of like corporate sponsorships and charitable support from large companies, my experience is that what most companies are in for when they are brought onto disability initiatives is that they're really just there for the photo opportunity. They want to be able to make grand, showy gestures that look good in newspapers and online without really making a long-term commitment to the people that they are supposed to be helping. It's all very much, I guess you could call it overly um, self-indulged altruism, because they're not doing a good thing because it's good. As with most corporate charity work, they're doing it so that their brand recognition will be increased and that people will think that they're a moral company. So this is essentially why I've washed my hands of the idea that activism of that sort will make any positive change, because I don't want to engage in shaming people because I have a disability. Unlike a lot of activists I've seen and even interacted with, I don't think that the world owes me a living because I was born into unfortunate circumstances. I'll give you a practical example. A lot of activists want the world to be physically adapted to allow full access to people with physical disabilities. Now, I am obviously in favor of physical adaptations to buildings and public spaces to a reasonable extent. I believe that someone like me, who is permanently wheelchair bound, should at least be able to get into government buildings, banks, and basically anywhere where I would need to go to do the daily business of being alive in the world. However, I do not believe that every building, particularly buildings of historical significance, should be adapted or retrofitted with ramps or other accessibility points. I accept that because I'm a quadriplegic who requires a wheelchair to get around, that there are simply some places that I simply can't go. It's not fair, it's sad, it limits my ability to socialize and experience the world, but the facts of life are the facts, and being angry about that won't change them. Well, I hope this little rant of mine has been helpful to you in some way. Have a good day, look after yourselves, and for now, farewell.